You all need to get on this show since it appears as though there is more dramatization happening in Wendy Williams' family. Since Wendy's child Kevin Jar just emerged to discuss how Wendy has been treated by his father Kevin Sr. for a really long time, despite the fact that Wendy and Kevin have been separated for very nearly 5 years now. Junior cases that his dad is as yet making an honest effort to get into Wendy's pockets and continue to utilize her to back his way of life. You all recollect how W. Jr. and Kevin Sr. got into a battle a long time back since Jr. learned about his dad's groundbreaking strategy to control Wendy for her cash. Well, that hasn't changed on the grounds that Lesser just emerged to drag Kevin Sr., and he went all in. It seems as though Jr. is prepared for war, and he didn't come to play with his father, okay? So it seems as though there are many individuals who are against Kevin Tracker and are showing their help to Wendy Williams, and one of them is their child, Kevin Tracker Jr. I'm about to call the child Junior, so you all don't get the two Kevins stirred up. Kevin and Wendy got hitched in 1999, and they were hitched until Kevin wrecked things and got his side piece Sharina Hudson pregnant. Now, Wendy had consistently had some significant awareness of his undertaking with Sharina, and she was able to choose not to see the issue as long as he didn't get Sharina thumped up yet. He did, and that was the finish of their marriage in the 20 years that they were hitched, and in 2000 they had a child together who they named Junior. As per reports, Junior has consistently had some significant awareness of how his father treated his mother, which isn't shocking on the grounds that he was there when it was all going down, and in spite of what many individuals think kids are really brilliant, and they understand what's happening in the family even without being told by a parent. In addition to Junior, was 19 at the time his folks split since his father got Sharina pregnant, so he wasn't a youngster, and he without a doubt realized what was happening in light of the fact that the media couldn't quit discussing it. He saw everything, including how his Wendy played Kevin, and pursued some frivolous retribution against him. Kevin uncovered that Wendy had played him by making him separated and jobless all in a solitary day. He said when the news was out, "I told her I would step down from the show, and Wendy let me know I want to remain in life. To the fact that I was having a youngster, I remained exclusively to later be arranged. I got terminated from the executive served legal documents and furthermore terminated from the show all around the same time." Wendy certainly delighted in doing this, and she uncovered so in a meeting and right up till now, it actually is everlastingly doesn't mean I love dislike that I stuck the postbox shut with the gorilla stick and having a pastime in my own head saying, "Okay, Wendy, you forever major area. Sue's strength for Bin, this is your time, you got to get this wreck together." During their marriage, Wendy was the person who took care of the bills. Much more dreadful, Kevin and Sharina were residing off her in light of the fact that Kevin was spending Wendy's well-deserved cash to fund his issue with Sharina getting her extravagant vehicles and a house, and separating up numerous organizations for her, all of which bombed after Wendy left him. Individuals were anticipating that he should land another position since he generally guaranteed that he made Wendy what she was, so one would feel that he would get it done again right off base, as opposed to taking out his resume and finding a new line of work. He concluded that he was about to pursue Wendy and have her money his life as far as might be feasible by having her compensation him provision. Despite the fact that he was the person who bamboozled what's considerably stranger, he requested that Wendy pay him kids support despite the fact that their child was a lawful grown-up at the time. Junior was on his mother's side here, and insiders asserted that Lesser felt a sort of way about his father requesting divorce settlement and kid support, making clearly he was solely after the cash. He felt like it was tasteless and raunchy, and he felt humiliated by his dad's conduct. Things got so terrible between them that they even got into an actual quarrel over it, with Kevin Sr. guaranteeing that Wendy had been programming their child. The battle was so terrible, thus chaotic, that Lesser got captured for it, so things looked great for Wendy for some time yet. Her tomfoolery was short-lived on the grounds that 2 or after 3 months she started encountering medical problems, at last prompting the retraction of her show back in 2020. Wendy needed to move away from the special mission for the impending time of the Wendy Williams show. Fans were a bit concerned, yet hello, everybody becomes ill some of the time, right? In addition to Wendy guaranteed to everybody that she'd be at the debut of the new season, so fans didn't stress a lot. Then things experienced a plunge when Wendy dropped her appearance at the show's debut, guaranteeing that she was specialist recommendation because of entanglements with her grave sickness, as though that wasn't enough. She likewise contracted coronavirus, further demolishing her medical conditions. Reports ruled that she was confessed to a mental clinic because of psychological wellness. Gives then Tasha K. showed up charging that Wendy Williams was battling with beginning stage dementia. She went further to guarantee that Wendy was dwelling in a protected house instead of her Manhattan condo. This is what Tasha K needed to say. Wendy done. Wendy is finished. And I could do without to say this. And she has beginning phases of dementia from the cases of dementia. How about we likewise discuss Tasha K's case that Wendy lost all bloodstream to the lower part of her legs and her feet so she could move around in a wheelchair. Now she has lost all blood course to the base of her legs and her feet, so she can't walk. He said we haven't had any cautions like that, and I haven't seen any such thing or have had discussions with her that would persuade me to think that we regularly go up in mind. Wendy, so no, we have no worries concerning her psychological express. It's all physical. Yet half a month after this, an article by The Sun came out that sort of painted Wendy's psychological wellness in an awful state and indicated that her family was attempting to conceal her main problems. The child, composed by sources Wendy's chief, was brought to her penthouse loft after she had seemed unwell during a Zoom show taping prior in the week. Her director and a little gathering of comrades showed up at the host's home to loan backing to the striving syndicated program Sovereign. Different sources detailed that Wendy had been found stripped down in her room, participating in unseemly way of behaving. At the same time, yelling illicit remarks. Stunned observers promptly reached medical care laborers when clinical faculty showed up. Wendy supposedly turned out to be much more forceful. She was consequently shipped to the emergency clinic where she stayed for a very long time. Things weren't solid for Wendy for some time with her declining actual well-being, and this episode matters immediately went from awful to more awful. All through a whole season, the makers of her show attempted to keep things above water, requiring visitor hosts to fill her spot. Yet by the season's end, it was obvious that Wendy wouldn't be returning, and the show got the hatchet. Wendy's situ citation proceeded to disintegrate, and reports demonstrated that she looked into a well-being place for therapy. She was away for a long while, and there was radio quietness from her camp when she at last re-emerged. Sources guaranteed that everyone around her were pushing her to hop once more into work. They were truly pushing for her to find another television gig, perhaps unscripted television or whatever. She might settle the score. However, she wasn't in pinnacle mental and actual well-being. Yet they weren't doing it since they thought often about her, but since they needed to benefit off her, assuming that when wasn't working, she wasn't bringing in cash, and they could never have this, so they put squeeze on her to find new work despite the fact that she was in no state to work, and they ought to have been empowering her to zero in on getting better. Rather, Junior at long last stood in opposition to this, and he affirmed that his mother was being utilized and controlled by individuals who didn't have her well-being on the most fundamental level. In a meeting with the child, asserted that she was being controlled by individuals around her who ought to have been safeguarding her. And in the meeting, he said, I realize there are a wide range of things happening that I know saying she could never consent to, however hard as it could be seeing her being exploited. I know that on the off chance that I'm ensuring she as an individual is okay. That's what is significant. So obviously Junior loves his mother without question, and he's aggravation to perceive how she's being controlled and made the most of. He got out whatever's been made more significant by individuals around her is that while her well-being may not be extraordinary, she wants to continue to procure pay, and as I would like to think that ought not be vital by any means, and whoever has been recruited, they are making the most of somebody who requirements to get better. He additionally guaranteed that individuals were making the most of her drinking, saying there are many individuals who are exceptionally mindful that there is an issue with her drinking and how that issue might be helped. Yet I think these individuals are making the most of it while permitting it to work out to make it appear as though they aren't causing the issue on the off chance that they aren't they are most certainly empowering a kind of character and giving her the go-ahead to drink. This wasn't whenever somebody first got down on those around Wendy for empowering her foolish ways of behaving only for their own benefit. DJ Boof spilled the tea on this back in 2020. In 2020, DJ Boof plunged out of the Wendy Williams show